What's up, people? Today I thought I would do the entire review of Ironheart, Season 1, the entire show itself. Now, the show did okay, I will say this, especially considering in my earlier part of my channel, I was like doing a review for a trailer of it, or at least at the very least, like the word of it. The show itself, for most words, didn't do what it should have been doing. Instead, all we got was a Riri who just wanted to basically be the next Tony Stark. And the show has so many issues within it that made me just say, okay, this did not pan out like it really should have. For example, like it should have really, like, okay, let me just read this quick. Like, we get introduced to Obadiah Stane's son, Ezekiel Stane. And just to get this off my chest, Riri is so freaking self-obsessed and shit, trying to be something. And then what makes it even look ridiculous, and I've heard other YouTubers say the same shit, is that here Riri is supposed to be a genius, right? She gets kicked out of the very place where she was making these Iron Tony Stark-esque, or should I say Iron Man-like suits, just calling it Ironheart. And that's another thing too. Why is she even calling herself Ironheart if she doesn't really have any kind of connections to Tony Stark himself? Or even like she's not even a protege. She has no relationship with the man. That's already a big downer when you look at it that way. And not only that, she basically is not only is she like supposed to be smart, but yeah, here she is working with a crime organization, or yeah, if you want to say that. And yet here Tony Stark built a suit in the cave, and she can't seem to just make money with what she's doing. I mean, that's already a plot hole in the first part of it. And now, as for when introduced, I mean, I'll get to him in a second, the Hood, we basically just see, I hate to say this, but again, Riri Williams, she's just betrayed like a sociopath. No, not like, is a sociopath. They even call her out in the show. And that's just sad. Riri, damn, I think this review might be longer than I originally intended to, but Riri doesn't even tell people what's going on. She leads people on. She only goes to folks when it benefits her. And not only that, she leaves folks behind, like she did to that one dude in the one episode. Sorry about that. Shit, get out of the way, notifications. No, but basically, she left that one dude behind on purpose. This caused Parker Robbins, aka the Hood, to want to basically exact revenge on her. And you know it's bad when the show makes you see that who's supposed to be an antagonist actually make more sense why they want to pose her ass. Because Riri just only goes to folks, and then just like how she used her mom to go along for the ride. They call her out on this. And then she just gaslights her mother in one episode like that with when they were walking out. And she even basically, like, okay, like I said, as I guess the finale of it, that's what doesn't really make sense to me is that Riri, her characterization, I'm sorry, but like at least didn't make her a Mary Sue. At least I can give them that. But she does come off more as a villain origin. And unfortunately, the kind where it's not the kind of type of villain origin where they weren't really going down a bad path from the get go. It's like, in her case, she just wanted to just basically proclaim to be the next Tony Stark and try to, be bigger or whatever. But then that ended up just kind of biting her in the ass because she can't even keep it up with one shit, and then her only option is to go to a criminal organization. And that already don't really help nothing. And then what doesn't even help with your Riri is how selfish she can be. And then basically, like the way things went between her and Ezekiel Stane. Like concerning that she just basically, pushes folks away. And then, damn, I did not mean to make this video longer than it should have been, but okay, here we are with the show. And again, she like her characterization overall is basically her just basically she only goes to folks, she takes what she needs, and then she abandons them. And then she tries to like, make people, or rather, she wants folks to tune to her tune. And then, when they don't, then she tries to resort to other shit, and that doesn't make Guri look all that great. And then, like for Parker Robbins, you can see this image. It's like even him too. It's like he got tired of Riri's shit, and then that's when he tried to like take revenge. Especially like one episode where asking if he had more shit for her, and then him talking about, yeah, you got plans with you, and she already knew what's up when he said that. So, and then at the end of the day, it's like, and then Riri trying to take the hood for herself using magic and shit. That's what you saw with that Mark suit, the mock, yeah, is that right? The mock suit with her Ironheart outfit. Sorry, no, but like I said, that's the thing about Riri is that as the season finale comes to an end, I'm so sorry about that voice in the background. As the season finale comes to an end, basically Riri just doesn't really help her case too much in that she does folks dirty. Now they all want to kind of like, turn on her. And then Riri just, again, a lot of people have said this. She's smart, at least when it comes to making suits. Why not try to make that, you know, profitable on her part? But instead, she just doesn't. So it's like, here you can build all this shit. They even in one episode show her surpassing like her grade school and shit because of how smart she is. But yet she's not smart enough to basically say, oh, let me try to get this on the market and see if I can benefit from that. Nope, they don't do that shit. Instead, it's just her joining a criminal organization, and then it just doesn't bode well from that point on. Then it's like Riri's an idiot when it comes to this shit. Too bad she ain't got no common sense. That's what happened with all the rest of that shit. And then in the season finale, we do get like a little, battle between her and the Hood, and of course Riri get rid of the Hood from him because, well, if in case any of you guys watch the show already, spoiler alert, the Hood made a deal with Mephisto, and those of you who know who Mephisto is, well, you already know what he stands for because he's a demon and a very powerful one. And basically, season finale ends with her actually making a deal with him to bring her sister back from the dead. Now, we don't really know what the whole catch is, but knowing since Mephisto, there has to be a catch, right? Just like what happened with Parker Robbins, she's just gonna go through the same shit. That's how the season one ended. Now I don't know if there's gonna be a season two, which I mean I'm not even sure if there will be a season two, considering that a lot of people have said that it's not that bad, but at the same time, I mean, again, this isn't Agatha all along, so. But yeah, um, yeah, this is a bad direction for Riri. And then my overall thoughts on the entire show is like it would have made more sense if she had some kind of connections to Tony Stark. Therefore, at least Ironheart kind of makes more sense in that context. But they just made Yuri a typical, stereotypical, selfish prick who just is out for herself and then basically just wants to have her way. Okay, let me put it a better way. She just wants people to tune her tune, and when they don't, then she try to resort to other shit. And then she try to like, only go to folks when it benefits her, and then just not making the best example of herself. And she hasn't saved a single like person. Everything she's doing is not for a good reason. So then that's what doesn't help. Especially her breaking into a bank and shit like that with a team. Then that's not what's helping. So it's like, yeah, Riri's not exactly making the best example here. But hey, I mean, then again, I mean, this is just an example, but like the Guardians of the Galaxy is like they were a bunch of like criminals and shit, but they became like literally Guardians of the Galaxy. But in their case, they ended up doing shit right in the long run. Riri, not so much. It seemed like for Riri, it did the opposite. She became a deconstructed version of that trope of like she just got worse, and then it just made her even worse in the outcome. So yeah, I don't even know if we're gonna see Riri. I mean, probably might, but with Ironheart, I'm not sure what to tell you guys, but it might just be like what the fuck moment. I mean, the show was okay, but I won't say that it was the worst. The worst. I mean, like I said again, there's Agatha all along, so I'm not going to say it's worse than that. But I will say it's bad on its own in that she just made not even just made bad decisions. She just straight up abolished everything, and now making this review a little bit longer than I originally intended to. But point is that Riri Williams is not the best protagonist in the show. At least she's not Mary Sue, like I already said, but she still fucked up everything. And then she keep doing bad shit, and there's no really good reason for it. Then it's just kind of like making her be a bad person in a way. Yeah, pretty much. Because she left that dude on purpose to die, and then she tried to justify it. Then she gaslighting her mom, using her mom, and then going to folks and then abandoning them. It's like, yeah, Riri Williams, not the best protagonist. This is just this is just turning to like a situation She-Hulk show with being a freaking selfish, self-obsessed prick. And now Riri Williams is also a self-obsessed prick. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ironheart season one. And this last image is basically just Mephisto, so no biggie. So like, subscribe,